So today we're going to talk about counting outcomes and trying to find out all the outcomes you can get in a situation, and then simple probability. So one of the ways to find all the outcomes is to make a tree diagram to show possibilities, so you should be able to read one and know how to make one. Then if you don't need to make one and list all the outcomes, you can use what's called the fundamental counting principle. So if we have two events, if an event M can occur in M different ways, then followed by this another event called N, and it can occur in N ways, then the event M followed by N can occur in M times N. So that sounds hard, but it's not really. And then what is simple probability? What's the number of ways an outcome can occur over the total number of outcomes? So it'll be written as a fraction in most cases is how we do write probability. And you do need to use all your rules for fractions about simplify it and so on. So let's see if we can use this then to do some problems. So how many different outcomes are there if you're going to make a sandwich and you can choose from one each of bread? You either have white or wheat bread. Meat, you can choose ham, chicken, or turkey. And then a condiment, you can choose ketchup, mustard, and mayo. And now we are limited in it's just choosing one of each. So, if you want to choose and make other ones, it can get more complicated. So we're going to represent this with a tree diagram and show all the different outcomes. So yes, could you figure out how many there are? Yes, in an easier way, but we want to show them all. So you're going to make a tree. So this is how you're going to make your tree. So we're going to start with our choices for for bread. So we can have wheat bread, and since they both start wheat and white, I'm going to, I guess, have to write them out. I usually a lot of times use abbreviations. Or we can have white bread. Let's say that we chose wheat bread. What is our next choice? Well, we have a choice of our meat. And here I am going to use abbreviations. We can have ham, turkey, or chicken. Well, if we chose white bread, we still have a choice of our meats, and it's the three things: ham, turkey, or chicken. So now we kind of follow along our paths or our branches, wheat and ham. Now we need to choose our condiments, and we had to choose from ketchup. Oops, I'm kind of running into my thing up here, so I don't know if I can get it in there. Mustard, I'm just going to use M-U, mayo, M-A. But what if we chose wheat and then turkey? Well, we still had three choices for our condiment, so we could choose ketchup, mustard, or mayo. What if we chose wheat and then chicken? We still have three here. Ketchup, mustard, mayo. Oops. Can't read all this. What if we chose white bread and then ham? Well, we still have, again, three branches coming out of there for ketchup, mustard, mayo. What if we chose white turkey? Well, three choices. Ketchup, mustard, mayo. What if we chose white chicken? 1, 2, 3. Ketchup, mustard, mayo. So you follow the branches to see. A lot of times they do ask you to write them out. I'm not going to make us write them out, but if I were, I'd say wheat, ham, ketchup. So I'd follow like this branch right here. Then wheat, ham, mustard, wheat, ham, mayo, wheat turkey ketchup, wheat, turkey, mustard, wheat, turkey, mayo, and so on. So in other words, if we count the end branches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 here. There are going to be 9 down here also. So there are 18 total outcomes, and we've listed them all. Now, if they didn't ask us to list them, that's when you can use your fundamental counting principle. So how many choices from bread did we have, wheat or white? So we had 2 choices. How many choices for meat, ham, turkey, and chicken? We had 3 choices. And how many choices for condiment? We had 3, ketchup, mustard, mayo, 3 choices. 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18. Now, in this case, they did need to see the tree, so you had to make the tree. But if they don't ask for a tree, you can do just how many. You can do it using the math way. Alright, this one says, how many outcomes are there if you flip a coin 2 times? What is the probability of getting 2 tails? Well, since we're going to have to do probability here, I do want you to see the outcomes. Alright, so how many outcomes are there if you flip a coin 2 times? Well, what could happen the first time? You could get heads, you could get tails. So that would be like the first toss. Now what happens? We're going to toss again. Well, if we got heads the first time, we could get heads, tails on the second toss. So this represents the second toss. If we got tails the first time, we could still get heads, tails. So how many outcomes are there? There would be 4 outcomes, so that would be our first answer. Now, what is the probability of getting 2 tails? Well, I follow the branches, heads, 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 tails, tails, heads, tails, tails. So there's only one way out of 4, so my probability would be 1 out of 4. How many outcomes are there if a coin is flipped and a die is tossed? Well, a coin is flipped, how many outcomes? 2. If you roll a normal die, how many outcomes are there? 6. So how many total outcomes would there be? 12. So that's just finding the outcomes. It didn't say to list them or anything on that one. Find the probability. So I hope you do know something about cards here. There are 52 cards in a deck. We have the 4 different suits. 2 are black, spades and clubs, and 2 are red, hearts and diamonds. And then we have the numbers 2 through 10, and you have an ace, a jack, queen, and king for each one. So what's the probability of drawing a 4 from a standard deck of cards? Well, the first thing is, let's determine how many total there are. So we said there are 52, so that's going to be our bottom number. Drawing a 4, well, how many ways can you draw a 4? Well, 4 clubs, spades, hearts, or diamonds, so 4 ways. We do, like I said, need to reduce our fraction, so this would reduce to 1/13. Number 5, probability of rolling a 5 or higher on a die. Well, there's 6 outcomes. How many ways are a 5? Well, we could roll a 5 or we could roll a 6. So there'd be 2 ways and then reduce it to 1/3.